Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. This is OG Mac the Rabbi. I had a very successful day. Today's date is July 20th, 2023. I'm sitting here being graced by the presence of the beautiful Beatrice, um, a very lovely one. How are you today, my dear? I'm doing fine. And we're right now we're doing a satellite uplink, and you're gonna be amazed at where we're doing it from. No, all I'll tell them is that right now we're on the Ivory Coast, and that's all I'm going to say.
That's fine, Dante.
The-
If you will.
it never snows on the Ivory Coast. Remember we saw the movie the other night? What was that? The day after
Tomorrow.
the day after tomorrow. That was a profound movie, wasn't it? What did that movie tell you, my dear Beatrice, about the weather?
That the weather is changing, has changed.
Uh huh.
Global warming, if
Okay. But now, global warming is also a convenient, I think, distraction. I'll tell you why.
you will. Why?
Sometimes they say life imitates art, right?
Mhm.
Okay. The movie, they use scientific information that's that's not even being taught in the schools, that the oceans are warming up.
And day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
That
And
the
the oceans
oceans
are
are
warming
warming
up,
up.
and that's why it's starting to rain a lot too.
Mhm. Okay?
You don't see many insects for the summer.
No, you don't.
Yellow jackets. Hardly,
Butterflies.
I haven't seen any birds. Have you seen a bird?
No, I
Yeah,
haven't.
see, we haven't seen
Actually.
it, but and see, this just shows you how disconnected you are. You who are stuck and trapped in the third dimension. We are right now. It's not satellite. It's more like a fusion, if you will. That's the only word I can use to describe communicating to individuals stuck in the third dimension. You're stuck in the third dimension and you don't know that you are.
And a
And
fusion?
the word is fusion.
Fusion. Yeah.
Have them look it up. We don't look up
Okay.
any words for you. Anything that I say is coming straight from the frequencies. And you may say, well, if we're in the third dimension and you're in the third dimension too, uh, now how can you prove that? Because you see a physical manifestation of me, but on any given day there could be different manifestations of me. I'm transmitting to you from the fourth dimension. I've already passed on, which is why the people that know me or knew of me as a younger man are amazed at my appearance and my
Appearance.
yeah.
And your.
I look much younger. They say I'm 63, right?
Mhm.
But do I look 63?
No.
When I get my implants, when I get approved for my implants from
Mhm.
Health First, will I definitely look 63?
No, you look 62.
No. This is why I love Beatrice. Beatrice is the
You
type of
expect
woman,
that.
right, that says whatever she wants. However, it has such an ironic truth to it that it's devastating. This is a woman of inspiration, and I'm gonna pull it out right now. This is a woman that can inspire any man to do anything that is under the sun.
Thank you.
This woman can inspire a man to create a kingdom, a new nation,
That's deep.
without giving physical birth to children. That's fourth
That's
dimensional. See, in the fourth dimension, we create children, but not the way that you think. We're
okay.
birthing them. We're birthing children in the fourth dimension.
But not the way you think.
Not in the third dimension. No, not in the conventional sense of a child coming through the womb. No. In the fourth dimension, it's not necessary for a woman to have the physical pain and suffering in the third dimension. All she has to do is believe that child, she felt that child some conception. All she has to do is feel conception in the fourth, and she'll birth many children in this dimension. Even though it appears she's in the third, because she's in the third because she wants to save others. The only reason why we're in the third, I'm in the third, is because I'm saving others. The church have nothing on me. Listen, the church cannot, I can expose every fraud in the church. You name a preacher, and I'll prove he's a fraud. The number one is going to be Joel Osteen. That's the number one fraud. And Lucifer will devour his soul like he did Judas Iscariot.
So do you want to name all of them?
No.
Joel Osteen.
I'm just going. Joel Osteen's at the top of the list, not because he's white. Because he knew that this day was coming, which is why you never hear him preach the book of Revelation. He can't preach the book of Revelation. He might turn into a pillar of salt. And also, I'm going to tell you something. It wasn't white people who started the slave trade in America. I'm making a declaration right now to clear the false, universal, fictitious knowledge that's out there. Your hatred is fraud. There is no black and white. And I'm going to tell you, the white man did not create slavery. It was the individuals, I'm going to give you a hint, who live in this country right now and across the world. They created gated communities. Now, I'm going to ask you something. As a child, I grew up in Nassau County, a very affluent county, conservative people. And there are certain places in Nassau County where very, very wealthy white people live. And I'm going to name off a couple. Garden City.
Roslyn.
Great Neck.
Manhasset.
Dix Hills.
Lloyd's Harbor.
Whoa. And we can't forget where all the super rich go. Hampton. Sag Harbor. Cedarhurst. Woodmere. Fire Island. Yep. Seacliff. Port Washington. Port Jefferson. Any of the ports. Anything on the North Shore is old money, fellas.
Laddingstown.
Say that again.
Laddingstown.
Say it again, Beatrice.
Laddingstown.
Say it one more time.
Laddingstown.
Woo!
In addition to Muttontown.
Ho!
Muttontown.
Muttontown. Mm-hmm. Muttontown, is that German?
I'm not sure. Oyster Bay.
Oyster Bay! When was the last time a black man from Hempstead or Long Beach went to
Oyster Bay?
Oyster Bay! You better have a fishing license. You never hear nothing happening. In those towns we just so eloquently laid out, you never hear about no crime.
Cold Spring Harbor.
Cold Spring Harbor, where they got the laboratories out there.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm going to go out further. Yaphank, anywhere near the South Lido Beach, Atlantic Beach, all that. The beach areas is the, listen. The borders must be protected. So those areas are very expensive to live in. You're not just gonna get a room, rent no room over there. You're not just gonna be a fly-by-night person. If you crash a party, your ass is going to jail. You're gonna get an ass whooping too. Or they might find you out there, strapped to one of them buoys or some shit. You know what I'm saying? You never hear about no black guys. You don't even hear about Puffy, none of them niggas going out there causing no ruckus in the fucking Hamptons. I ain't never heard no ruckus in the Hamptons. But I know some shady people out there. Now, I want to get back to Kevin Hart, right? Me and Beatrice was in California. Well, how long? When was that, baby? We was in there for like overnight? Okay, overnight. People don't understand that we do this show, okay, we move around in the third dimension, but we operating from the fourth. So wherever we project that, that's where it's coming from. I can answer any question, scientific, mathematic, any question in science, I can answer it. This is a challenge. I'm going to prove who are the individuals who we're talking about right now are the 8th level of hell. Everybody in the third dimension is living in their own personal hell. Inferno, I'm sorry. You're in the inferno. The blood moon already told that. I tried to tell you, clown. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you right now who's going to win the presidency of the United States of Donald J. Trump.
Wow. Okay, Dante.
And Donald J. Trump is the key and the catalyst to the salvation of the lost Negro. You lost ass Negroes don't realize that Donald Trump is your salvation. He's of the orange. The original orange in Germany were black. Europe was black before it became white. The entire continent. Everything, all those symbols with the horse and all that, the lion and all that shit, New York, it's the shield. That's ours. And see these traders, right? Who built these black colleges? Every last one of them is a trader. Every black college is a trader. Because the black colleges were started by the black slave owners. See, the black slave owners caught no hell in this country when the Civil War broke out. As a matter of fact, you didn't hear about no black slave owners during the Civil War. And you look at any of those movies, you don't even know about the black slave owners. Okay? I'm going to tell you something you're not going to find in your public library. You're not going to find maybe on Google. In fact, you're not going to find this on Google. This is coming straight from the archives of the cosmos. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. What I just said. Every black college is a fraud. And, no, every black college are traitors because now black colleges are residing in this third dimension in the 9th level of hell, of the inferno, and you are with Lucifer. Lucifer said he had every beautiful woman known to creation. That was European. Helen of Troy. Cleopatra. European women. Lucifer never said he had a black woman. In the inferno, Lucifer never had a black woman.
Why?
Because Eve was spared. That is Lucifer's greatest desire. And after this sermon, I think you churches need to apologize to me and come see me. Come see me. I'll tell you the time to come see me. Come see me at Hempstead Park Nursing Home, 800 Front Street in Hempstead. At what time are we going, Beatrice? We're going to get there about 11?
About 11.
Show up about 1 o'clock. I want all the churches that hear my voice to show up. Pastors, come. Deacons, come. Ushers, come. Ain't gonna be no singing and dancing. That's over. And I'm telling you right now, Lucifer never had a Nubian woman. When he tasted John the Baptist's soul, it is written that he devoured. Lucifer devoured Judas's soul. The ultimate traitor and betrayer. Lucifer. Judas Iscariot, that's the Greek name that they gave him. Judah, which means from Judah. They say J, but there were no J's. There were no J's in the Hebrew alphabet. There's no J's in Aramaic, in the Islamic Quran. There's no letter J that they translated from. That shit came in the 1800s under Judge Rutherford. Judge Rutherford went J crazy and changed all the Y's in the ancient text to J. Like Yahweh, Yeshua, Yahshua, Maryama. Maryama is the woman of the South. Mary, who they shortened it down, right? Instead of saying Maryama, because when you say Maryama brings grace and elegance to that name and also brings ancient heritage. When you look at my face and you look at the guy, my twin who's broadcasting from the South Street Seaport, he looks like me. The guy that walks around with the tall Don King haircut, he looked like me. Dante and Beatrice from Love from Tokyo.
New Zealand.
Yeah. And I created a diet where you can lose weight naturally without working out. See, the reason why it's more preferred not to work out but just do normal strenuous things is because you don't want to shock the muscles into believing that they're going to be overworked. You don't want the stomach to continue to believe it's going to be overworked, because most of you don't know how many parts of the brain you have. What are the major organs in your body? What does your spleen do? What is the purpose of your pancreas? Why do I have thyroid glands? And why is it that there's an issue about the pineal gland? And why is it so secret that only the high scientists can get information on the pineal gland? Because those definitions on when you Google it are really watered down. Here's another thing. Every doctor in the world that believes Hippocrates is the father of medicine is not only a betrayer, but they are one of the greatest frauds. The first physician,
In history.
say that, Beatrice?
First physician in history.
Name is Imhotep. And he was also considered the god of Egypt, who also the Greeks named Asclepius their god after Imhotep. Now, and also Imhotep built the one of the eight greatest wonders of the world, the pyramids in Giza. Okay, and also everyone in the world came to study from him, right? And he was a man of color like me. red face. See, I got a red face, which means that when Alexander the Great conquered the known world at that time, he was the king of Macedonia. And when he conquered the Romans. He conquered everything from Asia all the way down. He didn't go as far as Japan and China, and that part of China, but he went deep into it, right? Okay, he conquered Genghis Khan in them. I can't remember the name of that tribe, but yeah, I think it's Gog and Magog. But anyway, in the Bible they call them Gog and Magog. Well, Gog and Magog is the Chinese and the Mongols. See, when the Chinese hooked up with Japan in World War, no, when Japan attacked China, right? Japan did not fuck with the Mongols. They didn't go past the wall of China. The wall of China was to keep out the Mongols, who you see all the way up through the Alps. You see them going that way through Mount Everest, all the way up to Russia, all the way around the world, Iceland, Greenland, all the way around Alaska and the northern tips of Canada. They look like, they call them Eskimos. They call them Eskimos. But if you remember, Genghis Khan conquered Europe. Genghis Khan conquered the world, at the known world at that time. Mongol. See? So if the Bible talks about two great nations, right, you don't hear nothing on the news about the Mongols. And I'm going to tell you something else you never hear on the news about the black slave owners. Black History Month is a fraud. And everyone that advocated for Black History Month needs to be thrown into the deepest dungeon of hell, which is resided for traitors and frauds. The reason why the black man don't know himself after 1868 or 1863, when slaves were freed, right? Right now, here we go. Slaves are free, right? Now you got all these colleges. You got people like Frederick Douglass and all these cats, right? Well-educated black men, blah blah blah. But history is very unknown and mysterious because they were too educated. Them dudes was, listen, they were, wait a minute. Frederick Douglass was too fucking educated to be a slave. And where was his scars on his body? Where was his fucking mark of the slave master? Every slave got branded. I was watching Spartacus, right? This was 1,000 years before this slave trade, right? And they were fighting in the arena. Every one of them slaves had a brand of whoever owned them. And then they had to fight for their freedom, or they would get pardoned or something like that. But it had to be that's why I want you to watch it, a vicious battle to the death. But see, battle to the death is not physical death. Here's the thing. If the black man wanted to annihilate our ancestors, he could have did it. He had the firepower. But he had the firepower only on those who were unprotected, because we had firepower too. Marco Polo discovered fucking gunpowder in China. Took it back to the West. They made bullets and shit. Well, if it was in China, it was in Africa too. You ever seen the greatest story ever told with Moses, right? And they throw stuff down on the ground and it puffs up like fire. Boof, right? It sparks up. Well, they had that. Before Marco Polo discovered, went down there and the Chinese gave it to him. And he took it back. Where did Marco Polo take it back? To Spain and Europe. And then what did they make after that? They made bullets. They figured out a way to use that because the firecracker, then they had the firecracker, they saw how they exploded. So, wow. Then they put it in cans. Let's see what happens if we put this in something like this, right? And they created a cannon. Put the ball in there. They probably tried a different size cannonball. Boom. Oh, wow, look at this. What did they do? See, and they developed weaponry. See, they had that. They had guns. They could have defeated them Africans easily. All they had to do was just keep bringing fresh troops in there with new guns and bullets. It would take the Africans too long, right? The ones that were being sacrificed. See, I'm going to tell you who created the slave trade in this country. It wasn't a white man. Yeah, there were some hateful whites. But there were blacks posing as white. See? The devil in the blue dress. She posed for white and walked in the highest of high circles, posing as a white woman. Those people in them damn pictures where they show all them hanging on, those ain't all white folks. Oh no, that's the greatest fraud of all. Is that black people started the slave trade in this country, not white people. The white people were their pawns. There's a woman in Ethiopia. You can Google this picture. There's a woman in Ethiopia who I believe she was the queen. This is going back in 2018 and 19. The Pope in 2018-19 went to Africa. And it was in the New York Post. I got it at the New York Post. I had it on my wall for a long time until it got lost or stolen. But anyway, this woman looked like Florida. This woman, tall, jet black, teeth white as ivory, man. And she was with some black men in suits, inside of I guess a hall wherever they conduct their official business and stuff. And the Pope was he was on both knees, kissing her feet.
That's in the Post.
Mm-hmm. It could be archived. Mm-hmm. Photograph. Getty Images. It used to be Getty Images. Okay. This woman was so black, and in America, you would say, "Oh, that's an ugly woman." But this woman, she had an afro. I think she was standing up. Was she sitting down? No, she was standing up. She was standing up. She was standing up. And the Pope knelt down on his knees and kissed her feet. I ain't never seen the Pope do that to no white woman anywhere in the world. The Pope knelt down and kissed a black woman's feet, and the woman looked like Florida from Good Times. Wasn't no pretty, attractive woman. No, not in the sense. But an ancient woman, purebred. See, I got to get that picture. I'm going to get it. Okay? Pope's visits. It's the archive. Nobody going to know to think anything. When I used to get the newspapers, I would get them old. I said, give me all your old papers. I would get all the old newspapers, right? And I would go into this part where it has science and world stuff like that, world news and stuff like that. And I would see images, I would clip them out, right? That's why I'm about to expose Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, yo, listen, bro, right? I know your tentacles reach, right? But see, you reach the people who can be compromised, for people who they want to get ahead in that industry, right? And it's people like you, right, who are the impeders now. You're the only comedian right now in the United States of America that can put out one word and get Monique reinstated into her industry so she can earn a decent living for her and her posterity. You're the only nigga that can do that, Kevin Hart. See? Don't ask me how I know, Negro, but I know. See? You dig it? I'm Dante. I've gone through the 9 levels of the Inferno. And I know that the last 2, right, for this 3rd dimensional reality that you're living in, Playland, Cotton Candy World, you know, Bubblegum City, but you got a mouthful of jawbreakers. You can't bite down, homeboy. You know it, I know it. See? And I'm gonna say this, Kevin Hart, the day that you put on that dress, you're not even qualified to see a Tom Cruise movie. See, because Tom Cruise never put on a dress, homeboy. Show me a pharaoh wearing a dress. Show me a great black leader. Did Shaka Zulu wear a dress of the Zulu nation? Huh? Did you see Malcolm with a dress on?
No.
Did you see the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King with a dress on?
Nope.
Patrice Lumumba?
Nope.
Nelson Mandela?
Nope.
So I don't want to hear this shit no more on the internet, on them bogus posts, because you cats are parasites because you're exploiting the internet, right? On your celebrity, but it's not your celebrity. See, you're stuck under the sword of Damocles. Okay, I'm not gonna put your dirt in the street. It's already out there. You and I know the truth. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you something about R. Kelly in a minute. Now, getting back to you, Kevin Hart. Hey, look here, man. I love my brothers and sisters, but I'm in the 4th dimension, bro. There used to be a game when I was a kid. What was that thing called? Beatrice Shoots and Ladders? No, Candyland. Drums, gumdrops and bubblegum. Remember, it was a game called Candyland or something like that, and you had to roll the dice or whatever, and you jump and you get these treats, right? See, right now, all you actors and so-called over the top Jamie Foxx type cats, right? You cats like y'all. Hey, listen, man. You know, there's only a small window, and I'm giving it to you real. There's only a small window for you to get out of either the 8th or 9th level of the Inferno. There's a small window, and I can tell you what it is. But you have to humble yourself and come to me. You know how to find me. If you want to know the truth. If you want to know the truth. Okay. You left your brother. You left your brother. All you entertainers, you left your brother R. Kelly out there to French fry. All of you. What a disgrace. What a disgrace. And you should take back everything you said about Tupac. See, I believe in contracts, and I believe in notice to the principal is notice to the agent. Full disclosure, a genuine meeting of the minds. Tupac said that everything that they did in that gangster rap was fake. It wasn't real. But the media, right, and those black magazines, Ebony, Jet, Essence, Entrepreneur, whatever, all them black magazines, left it out that Tupac admitted that it was fake. So yes, he went to Juilliard. Yes, he had a questionable childhood to the point where, his existence was traveling on another frequency. But then he gained control and seized it for what it was. So why should he be condemned for embracing that frequency? Because the individuals who knew the frequency that he was on and that he was eventually got waking up to the fourth dimension, see, they had to kill him before he got to the fourth. They had to kill his physical manifestation before it got to the fourth. See, or before his eyes open up to see the fourth and embrace it. See, there's too many people. There's too many representations of people that are in the fourth dimension. See the storms coming, like the birds in the movie. The birds left before the people knew what hit them. And the birds knew exactly where to go. Well, welcome to the fourth dimension, because you see it and you know exactly where to go. My frequency is too strong for Paul. He didn't fight. You know. He should have fought for. But he's my days are all booked up. Okay, well, I don't even want to use y'all anymore. I think I'm gonna tomorrow I'm gonna go. I'm gonna find a new agency. Against medical advice, I'm stopping my mental health treatment just temporarily as under the law of necessity. I'm doing something to save my life, and I don't see that option really open at the epilepsy center because I need the marijuana. It makes me creative. It makes me creative, very creative. Because what the marijuana is doing is that it's chiming my pineal gland. But anyway, getting back to what I said.
It's challenging your pineal gland.
I'll explain that to you later, Beatrice. I want to stay on course right here. Now, I'm jumping around a bit because I want you to be able to catch up. Why is it that when you go to a college lecture, he only lectures one subject? For those of you who have did the due diligence to advance to that level of formal education, explain that to me. But here's the thing about you people that got the formal education. You were taught to think with a single track mind. See? See, the woman is physiologically made different than us, her male counterparts. Her brain has something in it, and well, just accept it for what it is. My medical doctor know what I'm talking about. The female brain is constructed a little bit different than the male brain. There's something in her brain that allows signals or frequencies or energy to fire off to both the left and right hemisphere in such an accelerated motion where women can literally outthink men. I give that to women because that is the scientific fact. Women outthinks us. The reason why the woman has been oppressed in this country is because the men knew it. And they kept that secret from the women. And then when women found that out, who became big women, Susie Anthony, so on, so on, so on, they became big women, right? Okay. C.J. Walker, Madam C.J. Walker, right? When they became big winners, Oprah Winfrey, when they became big winners, they had found out the secrets that the white man that was concealed from their brothers and sisters. to elevate and liberate their minds. Knowledge liberates your mind. It frees it from the tyranny of doubt. Doubt is a mind killer. Okay? I'm not going to get on that subject, but the fact of the matter is that when you go to college and you go say, I remember I had English courses. And, I think I had a anthropology course, some crazy thing I had to take, just to get the extra credits, right? And I went to these lectures, and they're just lecturing on and on and on, and it's like very boring, because a lecture should never be one dimensional. If you're listen, if your lectures are one dimensional, that's taking you back 10,000 years in time. That's how much they're slowing up your learning and development. They have to set you back 10,000 years of resetting of the clock. But I'm gonna tell you about before I end this right now, because I see the lovely Beatrice is getting a little antsy. I'm gonna talk about the blacks who owned slaves. It was black people who created the black slave trade. Because if it was the white people, if it was left up to them, they would have killed all of us. If it was left up to them. So it wasn't left up to them to do. Okay. See, it wasn't left up to them to do. See, they talk about, everything about the pilgrims, the slave owners, the white slave owners in the South and all that, the North, the bourgeoisie and all that, right? The white bourgeoisie, right? But you never heard anything about the black slave owners. They were never even mentioned during the Civil War. Never, not one time. Then y'all gonna talk about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is the greatest betrayal in the modern era of y'all. And I don't have to tell you who y'all is. Y'all know who y'all is and are.
Where did Dante go?
Dante's right here. But when it walked like a duck and it quacked like a duck, I got to talk duck. Because if I'm talking, I'm talking to ducks, Beatrice, right? So that's what they understand. Now, if I knew that they were on my level, some of them are, I'd be talking like this, which is Dante in his ultra magnanimous self. You look lovely, my dear.
Thank you, Dante.
Oh, you're ravishing. I like to talk. Thank you. I appreciate that. But you're there's something I want to tell you later. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Off the record, of course.
Off the record.
All right, fine. Now, getting back to the black slave owners. I'm back to Dante. See, I can talk duck. Okay, but don't paint a picture of who you think I am or what you think I'm trying to be. You can't even imagine. You don't have a clue who you are. Okay, so I'm going to help. I'm known as a gatekeeper, a spell breaker. I break spells. And if you feel you're under spell, you need to reach out to me. But be prepared to take your medicine. Because it's difficult to get out the 8th and 9th level of hell. It's very difficult. Okay? The 8th and 9th levels of the inferno are very, very difficult. Because in the 9th level, you have to confront Lucifer. Okay? If you make it that far. That's if you get that far. Some are stuck in limbo. Virtuous people and unbaptized babies. Unbaptized babies. Okay? So think about that. And I want you to think about the black slave owners. Remember, I told you that white people didn't need gated communities. They never have needed gated communities. It was black people who needed gated communities, the bourgeoisie. Why do you think Oprah lives behind a gate? Oprah lives behind a gate. Tyler Perry lives behind a gate. T.D. Jakes lives behind a gate. Creflo Dollar definitely lived behind gates. He should be behind bars. No, Creflo Dollar. You don't have to like me. Because like is not love. So you're thinking, I don't like this guy. Well, you know what? Good. Because you're incapable of loving me. So stay with your likes and dislikes. Your ego. Your ego is crucifying you right now. And one other thing, I'm going to tell you a sermon I heard so many times coming up. Lord knows. I'm sitting in the church and the preacher starts to talk. Brothers and sisters, I know that you're going through some difficult times right now. And we understand that everything you're doing to raise your children is 10 times harder than it was last year. And we believe that through faith of a mustard seed, we can hold on. And we know that our deliverance is coming. Now, I'm going to ask you right now, brothers, because the church solely needs your support. And God wants to see your reverence for the things that you desire of your heart that he will bless you with. Now I'm going to ask the choir to sing a small rendition. But before I do, brothers and sisters, will a man rob God? Now I say it again. Will a man rob God? But you say, Pastor, well, how will a man rob God? I want to know too. So do I, Pastor. How will a man rob God? Where you going, Beatrice? Beatrice got it. The spirit hit Beatrice so hard she had to stand up. How will a man rob God? And then the preacher says, in such condemnation and discernment, in tithes and offerings. And now, brothers and sisters, I would encourage each and every one of you to give of his heart so that the Lord can receive. And then they start the music and this, that, and the people parade out and give these tithes and their little chump change that they got, right? But here's the other thing, okay? And this is a shame on all them preachers that preach that, because that sermon wasn't for you, brothers and sisters. That sermon was for the preachers, the priests. Malachi chapter 2. In the book of Malachi, Malachi was sent to correct them bogus priests. And that's what the book of Malachi began to introduce. Okay? And how dare any preacher use that scripture to make you feel guilty to pay something you know you don't have to pay. So, why do it? Because in Malachi, the book of Malachi, what the priests were doing was during the holy times that the people came to the temple to give up their possessions according to the book of Moses, whatever it was, right? And the priest would take healthy sheep, replace it with one with a broken leg or blind in one eye, a blemished offering. This is what the priests were doing. They were switching gold for fake metal. Anything that's of value, they were doing this stuff. They were switching the gobblers. And they were just stealing in the name of the Lord. And this is what the preachers are doing today, that preach that sermon. How dare you use that sermon against the people of the flock, your so-called flock, when that and keeping them ignorant to the fact that that sermon was for you, not them. So I think all you preachers owe a refund. I think you need to get out the records and start refunding back to those people. And once you do that, then you'll be doing the Lord's work. But until then, you are residing in the 8th and 9th level of hell, of the inferno. The 8th and 9th level of the inferno is reserved for frauds and traitors. Frauds and traitors. So if that's you, I think you need to reach out to me in all humility. And I can give you the scriptures that will set you free. This is Dante, and I'm with the lovely. And we're about to sign off right now because it's time to do so. But I hope you really enjoyed what I said, because I won't use the word deadly. I am irrefutably serious. Beatrice, you have anything you'd like to say?
Just farewell, be safe, and good evening.
Farewell, be safe, good evening.